Okay, we've just completed reflowing these three motherboards here, and we're actually testing this one out, and we can see that it actually works. This would be the DV6000 motherboard. Note to remember about this, I'm just going to point this out while I'm here. That chip right there, this one, that is the actual BIOS chip on this board. So, keeping in mind that BIOS chips from an Intel system can be used to work with these. So, pulling that chip off and running it through a programmer and saving the file will actually help you if you ever have a brick issue where they just lock up. So that's something to keep in mind there. But we're going to let this one run. We know that it's good and it's working. We see it's been running for 2 minutes now. What we're going to do is take and clean the heatsink and everything off of it, and then put it to run for 2 hours. But next one we're going to move to is this DV4, and then after that we'll try the Toshiba. I don't know if I have a power switch for the Toshiba, so I might not be able to get that Toshiba to turn on, but we'll have to see when we get to it. But we're going to go to this DV4 here in a second and see what happens. Okay, so now we've got our DV4 hooked up, and what we're going to do is turn it on, same as we did the other ones, and we're going to see what happens. So we got it powered on. Let's see if we get video out of it. So obviously our board is still presenting a memory error on it. So what we're going to do now is the same thing that we always do. We're going to check the actual onboard memory and see what is going on with it. So we're going to unplug this, flip it over, and take our memory sticks out. We noticed that they're DDR2, 2 gig sticks each. So we're going to pull these out and replace it. I can get it to pull out. There we go. Replace it with a 512, which is going to be our test stick, and we're going to see what we get out of it like this. So we're going to take it, put it in here. Now we're going to replace the jack and turn the system on and see what we get out of it. So we have it on and we have video. So we know that one of our sticks is probably bad there. We'll actually boot it up to the BIOS and see what we get. So we have either a issue with the slot or an issue with the memory. But what we'll do is we'll test it out here in a second, same as we always test everything out. But we're going to have to move on to the Toshiba and see if we can't get that one to turn on. But we're going to take this one, turn it off. We'll clean it same way. And test our memory sticks one by one and see what we can't find out of them, which one's bad or if it's a slot, and then we'll go from there and see what we find. Okay, so with the Toshiba, we're going to have to go with the policy that 2 out of 3 worked. So we have no power switch for this one to turn it on, and no way to test it. So we're going to have to leave it like it is and say that it works. One way or the other, that's how it's going to have to be. So we're going to say this one's done, and then we're just going to move to burning in the other two and doing them the way they're supposed to be done. So that's what we're going to do here in a second and let that go. Okay, so we have a board that was sent back to us. At first, it was sent in for a no video issue, and it had corrosion on the board. It was pretty bad, but now the board powers on, and everything seems fine, except for the board does not get anything to the charging section. So the first thing that we have to do is take a look and make certain that the fuses. Now on most Toshibas, what you have is a DCN fuse here, and then a fuse that goes to your battery connector. Now we've checked all of those fuses and found that they are fine. So then the next thing we have to check is our charging circuit. So we know that this maximum chip right here goes into the charging circuit. It regulates power that goes across the board and regulates power that goes to the battery right here. Now we also know that we're sitting here looking at it. There doesn't seem to be any major problems with the system. We can actually get power. We get power to other parts of the board. But when we put it under the light and we check it, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. Hopefully it will. We're trying to zoom in on that one part right there. I'll try to point it out. Gotta get something to point with the. We notice that this part right here is the same identical part as this, but it's in a different spot. And by taking our light, we can actually turn this. We can turn our light here just a little bit. We get it to turn up and out. We can see that right here on this chip right here doesn't seem to be anything, but right here seems to be a white discolored part. That is an actual hot spot. That's a spot that actually got hot on the chip, and what happens is that spot is actually a deformation, or one of where it's go bad. So what let me see if I can get my pointer back in here again. So what we have here, these are dimples as leg indicators, but in the right light, in the right angle, we can see a spot that looks like it got hot right there. So we're going to take a look and see when we zoom up on it like that. That white spot isn't it isn't on any of the other chips. Now some people say that's just the light reflecting off of it, but it's not, because once you take the light away, you have a darker black spot here that is an actual indentation. This spot over here just has the letters. So we know that that is an actual hot spot where a failure on the chip may have occurred. So what we're going to do is try to match that chip up and change it out and see if we cannot get it to send the correct voltage to the battery, and see if that can't change anything.